I mean, I love working in Yonkers and the nonprofits, and I think Ari can attest as well. There's good quality volunteer programs in Yonkers where, agencies that we've been working with for quite some time, we know they're solid programs, that we know they're effective. They evaluate their programs, they look to see if the tutoring that they're doing for the child is not just visiting the child, but their actual test scores are going up. So I've been always very impressed with the nonprofits here.
Yeah, I would say that a quarter of our time goes to cultivating the nonprofits in Yonkers and ensuring that individuals in Yonkers are placed in volunteer opportunities.
Well,
Absolutely.
we're about a quarter of the county, so we should get a
quarter.
quarter of your time. So that works out well. What about students? I mean, they're a great resource. You have both high school students who are motivated, idealistic, and also are looking for experiences that they can put on their college applications when they apply. Some schools actually require community service. You've got college students. We've got some of the best colleges in the country here in Yonkers, like Sarah Lawrence College, and you've got Manhattanville. You've got people who come from different places and don't know what the local community is like. Do you work with students?
Yeah, we have a very strong youth program where we'll go in and talk to youth in their schools or in their faith communities. We'll work with the different groups for Global Youth Service Day, which happens in April. We do a youth volunteer guidebook that just highlights all the things that youth can do in the community. And then we recognize youth during National Volunteer Week with our New York Life Youth Awards. And it's amazing what youth are doing. They're not just, walking in the walkathons. They're actually leading programs. They're almost little entrepreneurs. We had one young woman who, age of 9, up north, she had wanted to help keep open one of the food pantries, and she had got $40 from her grandmother for her birthday, and thought, well, maybe I'll donate it. But she said, you know what? I'm good at something. I'm good at making necklaces. So she put that $40 into beads, made all of these necklaces, and then sold them and raised almost $900.
That's great.
Yeah. I want her in my team.
That's just one of the stories.
Right.
We actually hold a volunteer recognition breakfast every year, and the applications we get from students and groups of students that are doing amazing things in the community, it's just quite impressive.
It starts young. I mean, even
absolutely.
like, for instance, you mentioned the faith community. Kids that are getting bar and bat mitzvahed have to do mitzvah projects, and there's a whole book that I've seen put out of potential projects that people can volunteer. And sometimes people do it and they put in their time and that's it. And other times it really sparks an interest in them. It becomes a passion that they just carry out throughout their life.
Sure, you want to instill that from a very young age. I was just commenting to Shannon that I was meeting with an organization in Portchester called God's Green Market, and they do farming, and then they distribute the produce to the poor community in Portchester. And it sounded like such a great opportunity. I said, this is something I want to do, and this is going to be a volunteer project for the summer for myself and my son. And so you want to start them young, because the younger you start, then it's going to, you're instilling that seed, and it's going to be there for life. I know it was for me. So.
I was watching TV the other night, and Chris Rock was doing a comedy piece on the difference between a job and a career. And job is you go and you punch in 9 to 5. A career is something that you just put everything aside because you are trying to do. You're on a mission. You're on a calling, and sometimes this is sparked through volunteerism or through some social service. But in a sense, it's a return back to what we originally started talking about, which is your employment center. And sometimes people have been locked into jobs for so long that, in some senses, the layoffs, the bad economy is an opportunity for them to stop and say, wait a second, am I doing something that I really love to do? Or maybe now's a time that I can redirect myself and actually get paid for doing something that I've been volunteering for.
It opens, I think with the center, it opens new doors for people that felt that they really have nowhere to go. All of a sudden that they see that there's a world of opportunities for them, the opportunities that they didn't think that were possible. So this is, I think, one of the most exciting things about this new project, the Work Search.
And it really partners up with the Volunteer Center with the amount of people that we see coming in the door who are unemployed and are looking to volunteerism as a way to the means of getting a job. And whether that's filling gaps in their resume and getting experiences, or like you said, like new experiences in a field that they hadn't been in, or just building their network, getting to know more people and connecting to others in the community. It all helps and it all works towards the same goal. I know 6 years back when I was looking for work, and I was looking for work in the nonprofit field, and nonprofits are great to network with, but we were looking for, I was looking for ways to connect to a new community because I had just moved to the area. And so I just offered to do pro bono consulting to any nonprofit that wanted my expertise over the next few months. And I had about 20 agencies take me up on it, but it was such a marvelous way to get to know the nonprofits in that area, sort of a crash course. And you go in as somebody that can really give them a little bit of expertise for free. Maybe we have people that are coming from very high-level jobs in corporate world, and they get to come in and do something positive for a nonprofit while they're looking for work, but it also benefits them in a lot of ways as well.
You mentioned the networks, and I know it's on my notes to talk to you about Facebook and LinkedIn and some of these other web-based networks. I actually love Facebook. It's a lot of fun, and I have recruited people to do civic things in Yonkers. LinkedIn's a little complicated because you need to know the person's email address. Well, what do you find works?
Well, it was funny because I have one of our volunteers who was recently laid off, and she came in, she was a high-level HR person, and she started doing some HR work with our organization, put together some volunteer manuals for us and things like that, pro bono. And I went on her LinkedIn page, and I said, well, you don't list the volunteer center that you're consulting with us. And she goes, oh yeah, I got to do that. And so she put us down and keeps up her sort of LinkedIn resume. But it's clearly a way of reaching out to new people, and she's now linked into everybody at the Volunteer Center because of her work. So her LinkedIn profile is now grown, and then people that we know she's able to connect with through us. So it's one more tool. I think all of these are additional tools, and if you've ever been seeking work, you can't just sit at home and submit resumes on monster.com. You have to be doing a whole level of other things as well, and sort of getting out in the community to do some volunteer work, using LinkedIn, networking through Facebook, and all of those different tools. It just gets you a little bit closer to the person that you need to be talking to that will eventually lead you to that job.
I didn't even think of that until you said getting out to the community to do volunteer work as a networking tool, because yes, you can go to a networking cocktail party and put your business card, or if you don't have a business, you're looking for a business, in some fishbowl. But I think to actually be restoring the Sawmill River and cleaning up litter or doing something like that, and working next to somebody and building a relationship, and then it turns out that person's in your field, that may be as good a way as any of building a strong, solid relationship.
And they get to know you, which they don't always get to know you at a networking event, but if they did a volunteer activity with you, then there's a whole bunch of people that just got to know how great you are. So it's a good experience.
So this half hour has gone very fast. Is there anything that I forgot to ask you that you wanted to get out as a message to the public?
Call the Volunteer Center.
Yes, and please stop by the center at the Yonkers, Westchester College Yonkers Extension Center to look into the work search and to use that yet as another tool.
So if you're out of work, you shouldn't get depressed. You shouldn't be discouraged by the fact that the economy is down. There is new opportunity. In fact, even in Yonkers, we have a number of new economic development projects and business development that's online, so people will be looking for jobs. And this economy is going to turn itself around, and it's going to do so with everybody pitching in, whether it's on a volunteer level or professional level.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much for coming and sharing your thoughts with the citizens of Yonkers, and thank you for watching Spotlight on Yonkers.